We wanted to get a closer look at what life is like on the inside of an outbreak, what's being done to stop it. ABC's Ian Panel has been in the region and has this in-depth report.
Wuhan, China, a sprawling city of 11 million, bigger than New York or London. Testimony to China's rise as an economic superpower. Wuhan's a major transport hub known as China's thoroughfare, and the city where the potentially deadly coronavirus outbreak began. December last year, it was in this fish market where the first major cluster of cases was reported. Medical officials are still uncertain where the virus came from, but today the site and the city are under strict quarantine. One single location setting off an international alarm.
We begin tonight with the growing concern as the toll from that deadly coronavirus now grows, spreading from Wuhan, China, and tonight that first case here in the U.S.
As the highly contagious virus known as 2019 nCoV spread, Chinese officials who'd been slow to respond finally began taking extraordinary measures that only an authoritarian regime can do, quarantining tens of millions of its own citizens. In the early days, Bob Woodruff flew to Wuhan, nearly everyone on the flight wearing face masks.
So since I got off the plane here in Wuhan, we've had no screening. They haven't been looking for testing any temperatures, anything.
Flights were still leaving the city then, but that soon stopped as the unprecedented lockdown began, beginning with flights. The airport empty, train stations a ghost town. The streets of this once bustling city of Wuhan almost totally deserted. Some taking matters into their own hands, literally walling themselves off from the outside world, and temperature checkpoints now a common sight across Asia. More than 50 million people barred from leaving Hubei province alone, but the virus still spread. Now every province and territory in the world's most populous country has cases. In less than 2 months, more than 24 countries affected, from Australia to Cambodia to France and the United States.
The first confirmed U.S. case of that mysterious virus tracked here to Washington state.
Countries are desperately trying to keep the virus at bay. Airports across the U.S. screening passengers for potential symptoms. At least 54 airlines have now suspended or reduced service to China. And now the government advising against any travel to the mainland. But still, it's spreading. The situation's so urgent, China's built 2 new hospitals in a matter of days. This extraordinary time-lapse aired on state media, showing over 2,300 more beds being added this week. But that still isn't enough to deal with patient demand. And now this stadium in Wuhan is being turned into a makeshift hospital. Elsewhere, in overcrowded clinics, medical professionals in hazmat suits treat patients lining the hallways. No precaution, no protection, too extreme. The lives of people here have been suspended. Crucial medical supplies and food sent directly to some homes as Chinese authorities enforce the lockdown. Despite the millions stranded, the people of Wuhan are encouraging each other from their windows, shouting to keep fighting on. And the only ones lucky enough to be able to escape from here now are foreign nationals, those with the right passport to get out. More than 500 Americans have already paid thousands of dollars to evacuate from the infected region, with more flights expected this week. U.S. medical personnel at the ready with hazmat suits. All who take the flight now have to be quarantined for at least 2 weeks. But some choosing not to take the ticket out. Doug Perez, an American in Wuhan, refused to leave his girlfriend and his dog behind.
Just things are looking really bad, and they still look bad. We go over there, and we say we don't take the dog for a walk. And they say no. They say you can't leave. And that's kind of dawned on me, like, how bad this could get.
Normally my community is usually very, very full of people all over the place running around.
Justin Steese, a US citizen, and his family are stuck in Wuhan. He had the option to take his newborn back to America, but his wife Ling is Chinese, and just days ago she was told she wouldn't be able to join them and would have to stay behind.
Ling and I were very much upset about the result. First time I've seen her cry about this the entire time. There's no way I would ever separate a mother and her 1-month-old baby.
But now the US is allowing Steese and his wife to get back to America. But for now, the Chinese are holding up the process. Back in Hong Kong, a city that faced the full force of the deadly SARS outbreak in 2003, residents like Henry are taking few chances.
Now Hong Kong people has the alertness about the virus. 18 years ago, we don't have so many mainlanders coming to Hong Kong, right? But after 18 years, we have many tourists, and the relationship between Hong Kong and China is much more closer than 18 years ago.
But infections for this new type of coronavirus have surpassed SARS, and it's spreading faster too. Hong Kong trying to protect itself. Ferry boats and trains suspended, flights to the mainland halved, and a run on protective gear.
Hundreds of people are now lined all the way around the block because this store here has just got a supply of face masks. You can see them here, but they're being tightly rationed. If you have a look up here on the wall, it's basically telling people we've tried our best, we don't have any more masks, and that's the situation across Hong Kong.
Medical workers in Hong Kong are now on strike, demanding that all borders with mainland China be closed. The global financial centre just recorded its first death from the virus. And as it continues to spread, the World Health Organization declaring a global emergency.
In the last 24 hours, we had the most cases in a single day since the outbreak started.
While the coronavirus remains less deadly than the seasonal flu, scientists say it's just as contagious. So for now, this is what passes for life in Wuhan. The largest quarantine effort in the history of mankind failed to contain this virus. China admitting it was too slow to acknowledge it had a problem and too late to warn its own people and the world, leaving many to wonder what happens in the increasingly likely chance that this virulent outbreak can't be contained. And what can we do to stop it in our interconnected world? Ian Pannell, ABC News, Hong Kong.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.